look at a Robben Ford lick. So Robben Ford did a version of a Charlie Parker tune called Billy's Bounce. It's him and Bill Frisell, and it's really cool. But as I started looking at the lick, I thought, you know what? Let's pull something more jazz, but from one of his more bluesy contacts, so to speak. So there's a song called Oasis, which is on a recording called Tiger Walk, which is a fantastic all-instrumental record. Steve Jordan is the drummer. You probably know that from John Mayer. He's produced and been the drummer for John Mayer on a number of things. Killer drummer. Tiger Walk's a great record, and the song this is taken from is called Oasis. So it's C minor, and it goes. That's the little fragment we're going to look at. Next week we're going to look at, if you'll notice in the tab, there's a second part. We're going to look at that next week. But right now we're just going to look at this. So the first part is, we're in C minor. So in 8th position, which is the shape you normally start out with or start learning that, we're going to be up a little bit higher than next position up. So there's your pentatonic, or there's your Dorian. Anyway, first move has a flat 5 in it. And instead of doing it like if you know this, we're going to do it this way. Slightly different phrase because of the fingering, but it's 1 hammer down to 2, which is 10 to 11 pull off. Then I use my pinky. You could use your third to get that 13th on the 4th string. So your first part is great thing to be able to move. So that's the first part. The next part is, and we're going to get a concept out of this, he's going to slide into a major triad. In this case, it's an E flat major triad. And so the concept we can grab is, anytime we're in a minor chord, playing over a minor chord, we can play a major triad off of the minor third of that chord. So that means if we're in G, minor 7, we would go to the minor third tone, which is a B flat. So that's your concept. So you could take and learn that all over the neck. Learn that one triad over all of your minor chord shapes. That's so well fun. That note, the first note that you play is actually your minor third. Then you play on the G there is your 5th, and the B flat is your dominant 7th, or your flat 7th. So if you know your shell, if you ever learned, there's one jazz method that teaches you how to play chords by playing shells. You learn those are the notes that you first learn. Anyway, great for chord tone soloing as well. So if we want to take that concept and move it around, so really you're playing a major triad over a minor chord. But that's the concept. You could take that, learn it all over the neck. Triad soloing, there's a lot of that. Robben Ford does a lot of it. Larry Carlton does a lot of it. It's a very cool, it's a very melodic sound, because you can take where our ear is used to hearing triads, you can start to play them, superimpose them over chords, and they sound melodic, yet they can sound different because now that familiar shape has now been moved to a place that is slightly less familiar. And it's just a cool sound you can get. Anyway, So far we got this. I would think of that as the first lick to learn, that little chunk there. Move it around to all your, be able to play that in all keys. Then the next little fragment is a chromatic thing he does. And once again, he's basing this off of the minor third of the chord. So everything's off of that E flat. And he slides first finger from the flat 2 to the 2. And then he's going to just walk down chromatically to that minor third. So if you want to use this, start improvising with that. That little fragment, to improvise off of it, how you can build off of it is, first off, you're playing a bunch of chromatic notes. So you play that phrase. Your next phrase could have chromaticism in it. So instantly they kind of sound like they go together because you've made a statement, and now your next statement is going to have some chromaticism, but it's not exactly the same statement. So it's the idea of like a language, you're reinforcing. You're making a statement and then you're adding to it. So the other thing you could do is, if you know about enclosures, he's really making a chromatic enclosure. So if you know any other, your next phrase could be an enclosure. So I did a little enclosure there. See how they kind of, so the idea is you want to take from this an idea and now stick it in your second phrase. And the same thing with the next phrase that comes along. And sometimes you stop it and start something new, but that's basically how you improvise. So I'm going to shut up, and we're done with this one for this week. Next week we'll come back and we'll look at that second part of what you see in the tablature. If you like this, like, subscribe, that whole kit and caboodle. Anyway, thanks a lot.